everybody. Welcome back to Old Reader, New Reader. I'm joined by two lovely guests, Tina and Sean. Hello.
Hi.
Before we started, I made sure that, to properly introduce Tina to Sean, I was like, Tina, tell us really embarrassing stories. So we're on a high right now.
Oh, yeah.
We'd share more, but you have to wait for another AMA.
Yeah.
I'll just say this. I've heard a lot of stories in my life. It's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard.
I wouldn't call it the greatest story.
Well, it's great by a certain kind of definition.
Yeah, by a certain definition. My wife would be like, I can't believe you told that again.
That's what friendship is. Yeah, we'd be telling it. AMAs are part of the MC Patreon. Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did talk to Omar last summer, like, let me and Tina be on the next one because we want to get drunk and be on the show. So, hopefully. Yes, and shout Sean.
Hi, yes, I'm Sean from the Comics Pals. Thank you so much, Maddie, for inviting me, and Tina for allowing me to be a part of this episode. It's spooky season. I can't wait to talk about a very spooky book because the antagonist in this book is racism. The scariest thing of all.
It's perfect for this time period. And right now, James, yes, the cat story. So yeah, Tina's told it before on AMA.
I feel initiated now that I know that story.
Yeah, now you're one of us.
Yeah.
What's interesting too, so like Sean, the last time when you were on here, we read Upgrade Soul. And the author of that book wrote a kind of similar comic to this one.
Oh. Actually.
It's a very similar premise, like even within like an apartment building and who the enemy of that story is.
Interesting.
So it's neat to see two different authors, two different creators kind of create something similar, very different vibe. Because he went like colorful and more cartoony for his versus this is much more realistic. Very cool.
What was the name of that book?
1 second.
She did not come prepared.
Never. Listen, work sucks. So I've been stressed. It is Bottom Feeders, which looks like this. Bottom Feeders, very cool. I was going to bring it up, but I forgot. But it's a very cool, like it's like this size of a book.
Okay.
But also, the villain is racism, so that's fun. But very different vibe. So we are here to talk about Infidel. Thanks for it's a Sean's pick, so thank you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah. So I did an old reader, new reader on this. I forgot because I'm never going to remember. 5 years ago.
Oh, 5.
Oh, so that's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Because I was like, okay, because I know I've read it. I've done a show about it. If I didn't, I talked to myself about it, which is possible. Because I was on another channel too, and I was like, where? So it was 5 years ago, October 6th, with Omar and Amanda. So Tina, it's your first time though, right?
Yes, it's my first time reading this one.
Okay. I don't know if you want to go into like a quick summary of it and just kind of dig in. How are y'all feeling?
Yeah. Summary is fine.
Okay, I don't think we have to do sequentially. We can kind of just talk about it.
Yeah.
So basically, Infidel, it centers around our main character, Aisha, who is this Arab woman who's married to this white guy. She moves in with her mother-in-law who's already living there. They get an apartment together. Either way, they're living in this apartment building that also was once the setting of a mass murder. It was a bombing. I'm going to use that loosely. There's a bombing there. And she's starting to see things. She's having what appear to be maybe hallucinations or visions of these very monstrous things in front of her. I meant to have a picture of one up really quickly, but I got distracted. But as she's starting to like see things, I can't show that one. Man, the first one is naked. I can't show that on YouTube.
You can't show that on YouTube.
I can't show that. I'll show one of them just so you have an example of like the art and kind of how these come about. So these kind of monstrosities, kind of ghost-like things are showing up, but only to her. they're affecting the way that she is acting, to the point where she kind of feels like she herself is going crazy.
Yeah.
And at the same point, we're dealing with some back and forth and some racist undertones, also just racial conversations between people who live there, amongst like the background of what's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of dynamics with like racism being dealt with, family, like inner dynamics with like just how people are in the past, trying to resolve that. But are they really trying to resolve if there's ulterior motives under that with that racism?
Yeah, I don't trust that mom. I don't care. It was a month ago. She's fine now. I don't think
right.
Yeah. So they moved in with her. They have, so it's Aisha, her husband Tom, and her stepdaughter Chris, who seems like a sweetheart. And it's their mother-in-law Leslie, who has been slow to come around. She's very nice, but the husband Tom is like, she can be very sweet, but she's not really like that. And there's conversations that have been overheard of like her yelling at Chris for wearing a head covering and like saying some really out of pocket stuff, and trying to get like Chris taken away. So that's the first part of this. So I guess we can talk about that part first, of like how things are kind of slowly moving for Aisha, and then we can move to Aisha's best friend Medina. How does that sound?
Yeah.
So what do y'all think, Sean?
So real quick, I want to say this was written by Pornsak Pichetshote, and drawn by Aaron Campbell, who are both tremendously talented and have gone on to do incredible things since Infidel release, which I believe was a decade ago now.
Yeah, like 2018.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I was wondering, I didn't actually, and I should have researched it because I was like, when did this come out? Because it feels like a very weird time post 9/11. So it felt very cognizant of that era of time. Does that make sense?
100% it makes sense, and I think it's very reflective of the way in which our experience of and reflections on racism have evolved since then. Because this book is tackling passive and active racism, which is, to me, very interesting, because it's not, racism isn't just the big stuff like in this book where, they accidentally cause this whole fire and all these people die, right? Which is the end result of hate. But it's also in the way that in this case, the stepmother, or the mother, excuse me, she doesn't necessarily like Aisha, or she has questions about Aisha's religion and things like that, which, why do you, right? Because of these things that she's learned since 9/11, as Tina pointed out, and that are just in our culture, the way we talk about people, that are terrible and infiltrate the mind of an otherwise decent human.
Well, it's interesting too, like even amongst like, we have a pretty diverse group of like I say friends loosely, but people that are all living in the building together that hang out and have the same age, right? Like Grace, who I assume is Asian. Yeah. Like the things that she says, like after things come out about like what happens with Aisha, and like when things get crazy there, but how she talks about her suddenly. Somebody who was like a friend, and suddenly she's like, I don't have to defend them. Then she starts using the them instead. Right. And you're like,
right.
You knew her. Like, and suddenly it's a them thing.
Well, and I was wondering what, because we get a Korean family, we have like very obviously like people of color, whether they're Arabic or some type of I don't know, like Medina's like definitely African American.
No, Medina's she's half Pakistani, right?
Oh, she's Pakistani. Okay,
but half, I think.
But half. Okay. Yeah. So we have people of color in this building, and she's the only one that I couldn't peg on if she was like Korean or if she was Asian, and it kind of to me felt like a internalized racism. Like she's the character that embodies like internalized racism. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because she's like them. Yeah. She's talking about them as other, even though she might be part of that same sort of like non-white character that identifies more with the white characters as an internalized racism character. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you know what it makes me think about? I guess like I read Grace just slightly differently in the sense that um, what I interpreted them reflecting on is the fact that even among our own communities, you know, no community, no ethnic group is a monolith.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm a bit of a mutt. I'm black, I'm Spanish, and I'm Irish, right? So I got all kinds of things going on. And I have heard things that are, for example, anti-black around Spanish people, or anti-Spanish around black people, or anti-white around everybody. You know, like you just hear these things that are never good to hear. There's no kind of racism that I think is cool or that I'm into. But even
That's
among
good. We'll put that on a t-shirt.
Racism isn't cool to me.
Yep. Sean, 2026.
Exactly. I feel like today we need to be clear about it.
And that's
hey, listen, you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. But so there's racism toward different groups among all groups. And I just don't love the concept that like you can say only white people can be racist, right? Someone could say that statement. The reason why I disagree with it is because I have seen it all over the place. And I was so glad that Infidel put that in this book, because this is something we're doing to each other all across the board.
Yeah. And I like the way, so, you know, we don't talk, we can do spoilers here, so we can talk about the whole thing. But and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I think that's how I'm going to do this, if that's cool. But we learned that like the way that these feelings and these monsters, I guess these ghosts are coming up, is because of a strong feeling, a strong negative feeling. They keep bringing up this character, Arthur Quinn, who does this study about like how strong feelings can manifest in like the spiritual world and things. They reference like Japanese folklore as well. Barry Gretsch. Love it. But the other people that died, one of them, Mitchell Fisher's one of the main ones, who was the reason the bombing happened, because of the way that he was talking to the man who lived in the building before. And it's interesting to see how like these instances of strong emotion and antagonizing each other are kind of what bring about a lot of these, like the spirits kind of up. It summons them. And luckily that gets reversed and cool at the end, which I do want to talk about the end eventually. But it's interesting to see how when you have that in mind going back and reading it and seeing which instances they are seeing these things. Like what are the strong emotions bringing up those monsters and creatures, and like how those are coming up and the way that they look too. I think they do an incredible job with the layers of this, not just with like the monster design, but even like if you pay attention to like the words that come out of the monster's mouth when they show up.
Yeah.
Like the curse words and the slurs and everything else, like the way they kind of like if you wouldn't pay, like we didn't pay close attention, you're not seeing, you're just seeing like letters, but very neat.
Yeah, and at first when they're first appearing, and you've already kind of touched base, like for Aisha, like she references like, I think it's my medication, so it's bringing that aspect of mental health too. Like she's concerned about her mental health, she's concerned about being a good mother to Chris, her stepdaughter, she's concerned about being a good wife and a good daughter-in-law to a woman who is in the past has been very racist. But she's like, well, that's in the past, we should forgive her. But her husband's like, no, we can't forgive my mother. You don't know how manipulative my mom is. So it was nice to see in that aspect that the husband was very much on his wife's side, and he understood how his mom was, to sort of have that aspect of it. Even though something happens really bad in the end, but it's nice to see in that little glimpse that he does have a foundation with his wife that's very trustful.
Well, it's interesting too, right? Because like you could read it as that, and I also read it as being like, I don't know. So there's multiple levels. Because sometimes I can see it like that, and sometimes I can see it as like, especially when he's talking to Medina, and Medina's like, she can take care of herself.
Yeah.
Like which I think is good and bad.
Yeah.
Because one thing you should check on your friend, probably. and she does ask, but she doesn't press, right?
Right.
And that's not on her, but still, she's like, she's a grown ass woman. She'll fight back. She'll take care of it. I'm like, maybe she needs help. Actually,
maybe. Yeah.
But there's some moments where I like the back and forth with them, where she's like, you're making these assumptions for her, like, and she can't handle things, and you need to like have faith. There's interesting kind of like, I think, ways to see that relationship.
Yeah, because it's two-sided. Like, her friend's like very much like, she's a strong woman, she can take care of herself, but on some aspects she is also deferring to her mother-in-law. So in some ways I think her husband has that strong foundation. In some ways it's not quite he's infantilizing her, but he is underestimating some of her abilities.
I think the book is I mean, and it's only 5 issues, so they really got a lot in here.
Yeah.
But I think it's trying to point out that passive hate, or not hate, hate's not the right word. Passive negative feelings or preconceived notions about people or things of that nature are like a seed that can grow. So he starts off in a way of just really worrying about his wife, which seems like a completely good thing, that he would worry about her. But there's also a level of hypervigilance there that reflects something else is going on, because we don't actually see his mother do anything so horrible that he needs to be this aggressive about it. So in a way, throughout my reread, I was thinking like, well, when you think about where the book ends and the position that he is in at the end, I kind of think that the seed of his misogyny or some form of negative energy led to that end.
Yeah.
And I can see that. The things that I was picking up was the thing with his mother where she had tried to get control of Chris because his wife was Muslim.
I'm like, boy, you shouldn't have kept her in the house.
Right.
That was a bad move.
Where
if that was the
snatched
case,
off Chris's veil when she was wearing and even the Aisha was like, well, we may not wear that until you're a little bit older, when you go through a stage of your life where you decide that is right for you, and you may not be ready for that. So there were these little instances, and then him losing his prior wife, Chris's mother. I think that, to me, I was like, this is why he's hypervigilant. It's because he's gone through this trauma before. And so I think he doesn't have a foundation of a strong trust with people outside of his initial small unit of family. That's how I was seeing it at first.
Yeah. So go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask you both a question, because I think there is, what Tina's pointing out is absolutely correct as well. And I think that there is an element of sort of, okay, you do this, right? What is the interpretation of an action, right? Because you could look at it one way and say, wow, he's really going hard for his wife. You could look at it another way and say, she could take care of herself. You're doing too much. Like, let the masculinity down a notch. So where do you guys feel that sort of line is between feeling protected or safe with a person and feeling like, okay, you're going too hard because of X? I have my line when it comes to race, but I want to hear from you both on, sex, gender, I guess.
I don't know. Like, I was thinking about one particular instance where, like, even at the beginning, where the mom is like, and I get it. Like, and she's like, oh, I'll teach you my pork thing. And he's like, goes like, Mom, I swear to God, I told you. Like, at a certain point, you were making this situation more difficult for your wife. You could have found a time outside of that.
Right.
To, like, talk to her again. And, like, granted, and then you need to set that boundary and take care of things. Right? Because you're creating that situation for your wife.
Yeah.
And I think with things like pronouns and stuff, right? Where, like, I have friends that, like, if I came in after somebody was like said the wrong pronouns, I'm like, I swear to God. You know,
for
and like
example,
that's me inserting myself in a position that's not God
to
great.
go a little deep, we have a mutual friend that I first met under one name, and now he's got a different name. And like I've been known to accidentally, just the way my brain is, to say the name that I met him with, and it'd be totally innocent. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm royally messed up. I'm so sorry. But to have someone be like, somebody outside, you did wrong. You don't know if that person incidentally messed up. It was just something that you spoke before your brain actually thought about it, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Like the mother-in-law, is that an actual instance where she purposely thought it and did that for a reason, like he is thinking, or was it just a simple slip up and she actually forgot? The person that knows the truth is the person doing that action. The outside actors don't know, and they're just going to go off based of what they've dealt with in the past. And so to go back to your question on where's that line, honestly, it's how I've dealt with that person in the past and their actions leading up to that moment in time. So if somebody has been like, I've got you, I've always got your back, I'm just worried about you, and all their actions have led me up to believe that their words are true because they've followed it up with their actions, I'm going to believe their words because of their actions in the past. But if somebody has shown me that they've spoken one way and they've done something differently, I'm not going to believe them. So it's a fine line. And with this, we really don't know who to trust in that instance, because that's very early on in the book that you have to be like, well, maybe we have to take his word for it because he's had that past trauma. That is his mom, and he's had those actions. So he knows that she is manipulative. We just don't know because we don't see those prior actions. We can only understand what they're telling us.
Oh,
What about
Tina.
you, Sean?
Well, I'll answer the question, but Tina, you just really you really illuminated what I think Pornsak was going for in the script, which is that the context matters.
Yeah.
I think we're given a lot of scenarios in the story in which you could talk about race, you could potentially talk about misogyny, you could talk about mental health, right?
Mhm.
But the context of all of those situations is what will define truth. And it's
Right.
what will define, whether or not this is a good actor or a bad actor, right? It's the context.
Which is a perfect thing to bring up, because think about the context of like things people witness in here.
Right.
Well, and
right?
I don't
Like
think
how is a crime work out or not? Is this thing a crime? Because I saw it this way.
Right.
But that's not what happened, right?
Well, and
like,
that's the scariest thing in this book, I think, isn't the ghost. It's who are you going to believe? Who is the most believable character? That is the scariest thing, because
not that blonde lady.
Well, if you get a jury of her peers,
never believed a blonde lady in my life.
And that's what's so scary. If you get a jury of her peers, they're probably going to believe her. That's a scary thing. Truth from one person's perspective is truth. That's what they believe happened. That's what they saw happen. But is that the steadfast truth? That's the scary part of it. What you see isn't always the truth, no matter how you saw it, because you were just a non-participant in the action. You caught it mid-action. That's why viral videos are so scary, because you don't know what played out beforehand. It can be so scary because you can turn something, and we've seen this happen when the full story comes out, where people have blamed, like, a mom with a kid, they're like, oh, she's a bad parent and stuff. But then we see an outside actor and we're like, oh, actually, they're doing a good thing. Or this woman was actually a Karen, even though a large majority felt bad for her because a small snippet got taken out of context. And that's what's so scary.
And to double down on that, racism also often requires context, because passive racism isn't always something, and that I think that goes for misogyny and everything else. It's not always something that somebody who doesn't have their like antennas up for that can immediately notice. Someone could say, let's say the three of us were in a shared space right now. Someone could walk up to you and make a comment that makes you feel uncomfortable in a unique way because it was directed at at you as a woman. And I may not recognize that you felt threatened in that moment, or that something was said in that moment that made you uncomfortable, because I just might not be thinking that way. But you know what you experienced.
Yeah. I think even this book, the way people talk about stuff in hindsight is really interesting too, because amidst all these like really scary things that are happening, and I'll make sure I keep showing some creepy art. It's October. So amidst all the crazy things that are happening, we're having discussions, you know, like Medina is having, or was it Reynolds was having it with Ethan? I'm trying to remember names. There's so many names in here.
A lot of names.
I don't know who was who, to be honest. A lot of times, I know his name is Ethan. He has a mustache, but he talks about like his this girl he was friends with in high school, who made a comment out of nowhere that was like, "No, I only date white guys." And it was like, at the time, I was like, "Well, I guess people have a preference," but then like, how far does that go? It was a very interesting conversation. They're here like, "Well, I don't." And I started dating a black girl. I've never dated a black girl before. Does that mean I'm this way? And I'm like, well, I don't date redheads. Does that mean it was interesting? Like, just, I don't know, it's the little discussions happening amidst these crazy, horrific body horror creatures, which are so beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a horror girly. I like all genres, but gorgeous stuff. But I like when a book is like this and has this bigger, creepy picture, and then has all these things happening while we're going to remind you, like, hey, there's this. Remember the theme?
Yeah.
I cannot make jokes even while I was doing this. I'm sorry. This is just how I go.
I definitely want to sit on that, if you're cool, that subject of, because again, it goes back to the concept of, you know, the slippery slope. Like, in that moment, that girl is making a statement that if it were made in a different context, if you changed it around, it might be more acceptable. Like, for her to say, "Oh, I only date white guys," right? That sounds pretty heavy. Like, oh wow, okay. Like, I hear that, I think you're racist, right? But if someone said, like, I only date women, right? That's my preference.
Tina.
Like, is that offensive? Like, where is the line where it becomes offensive, where it becomes a problem?
Yeah.
When it's a fetish. I think so. Sometimes I think. Well, I think there's an earlier line, but that's one of the noticeable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's an earlier line somewhere.
I was thinking early Childish Gambino.
Okay.
Great album, so.
Like, I think everybody gets that you have preferences, but there is a line where it's like, are you really going to voice that out loud?
Yeah, my senior pictures of my I Love Japanese Guys t-shirt makes me cringe every time I think about it.
Yo, wait, what?
Those are my senior photos.
Maddie. Okay, but
I love
like,
Japanese.
if I wore a shirt that was like, I only love women, like,
that's fine. That's your that's your whole deal.
But what makes it fine?
But what makes it fun? Yeah,
because you can't not be that way.
But
some people would say, like, well,
but like, that's the
Tina
thing.
also hates muscly men, which I don't understand.
Yeah, I can't deal with muscly men.
Muscly women?
Come on.
That's offensive.
Absolute Wonder Woman? Big Barda? What are we talking about? Yeah.
I don't like muscles. I like little elf people.
That's
I guess.
True.
I don't know.
She likes androgynous boys and just
only 2D though. So let's be real about it.
But see, Tina, I'm not gonna yuck your yum, and I'm not gonna tell you can't feel that way, right? Like,
maybe when it's like a superiority thing,
it could be.
You know what I mean? When you're like, if that person, that instance is like, I only date this type of guy, is that because you think that type of person superior to all the other people?
Right.
Then it feels like
it's the context.
Yeah. Damn it, we're back shining us again.
That's what it always. I think that's what it always comes back to. Like, I'll be honest. All right. So on my channel, one of the running jokes is that I like snow bunnies. Okay, that's the joke, right? All right. That is a joke that we play, but it's also it's a preference, but it's not hard and fast.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay, but there are people who would not think that's okay.
Do you think the line is it's a preference, I prefer, versus I don't? That's a hard stop.
That's a good point.
There's a line there. So like I could say like my preference is women. Would I ever date a man as a lesbian? Probably not. I'm not going to say that all the guys would be like, well, you just haven't met the right guy. All right. But would I say this is a hard stop? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a guy out there. Maybe there's, but that's not the thing. Like, is it the hard stop? Like, I would never date a black man. Is that the hard stop where it becomes racist? Or is it a preference? I think the hard stop is when you say something like that. Like, for me, to TMI Tina here.
Oh, no.
I'm going to tell a personal story. Going to college, my dad's driving me to college. Maddie knows all about my dad.
Listen, I think when
I've
it
got
comes to
family
your dad,
history.
it is offensive.
I won't go to depth in here, but I've got weird family history. My dad's driving me to college.
And your dad has a type.
No. That my dad has a type. My dad doesn't know I'm dating a woman. And I got the talk of who I should not bring home. And I'll say my dad's Southern. My dad is racist. He comes from a racist family. And the hard stop was don't bring home a black man. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, and well, yet, I don't think you have to worry about bringing home any man.
Has a different country. Your dad has a different country preference. So for him, it is very much like a. Sorry, oh my God, you've never watched this, right? I'm gonna feel so. He would never watch. He doesn't know me.
He doesn't watch this, but like to me, I'm like, I know where that is contextually speaking. My dad's saying something because he's racist,
and he's got yellow fever. So I mean, no surprise.
You know. That is contextually speaking, but if he said like, I'm concerned for your safety, don't bring home any strange men, then that's going to be like, okay, you just want to make sure I'm protected. But there's contextual clues here. So it's very contextual, I think.
I love this conversation. This is a phenomenal conversation. And I mean that so sincerely because, like, where else can we talk about these kinds of things? You know, that's the beauty of YouTube.
Well, and that's the beauty of comics as well. Like, there's this really great in the afterword. Bring it back to in the afterword by Jeff Lemire, he talks about how he said, "I have the belief that the comics medium can do anything a film or novel can do better." And he mentioned that like the one exception may be horror because we're missing. Sound, which is a key element of horror.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in like the jump factor in those things. And he also talked about like the balancing of politics and comics, right? Especially with, you and I, we all know certain comic books readers as well. They're like, get your politics out of my comics, which is a silly thing.
Yeah.
Politics is voting on what to do with the road. A little different than, rights. And that's a complicated thing, and politics have always been comics. If you've ever read X-Men, congrats. Any X-Men, you've got politics in there. But he talks about how it's very interesting because it's really difficult to be. It's hard. It can be really easy to be heavy-handed with both of these. Your politics and like your horror as a genre at the same time. And I think Infidel is very well done because it's definitely both. And I think it's also being released. It was released in like a set off, right, of horror and race as like key elements in horror storytelling in big horror movies.
Yeah,
especially Jordan Peele. We think about like Sinners, which is perfection.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of movies in the past like 7 or 8 years, and that we're seeing that like because we do, if we're talking about horror, we need to think about what's happening in our world that's scary.
Yeah.
Right? Because at a certain point, slashers, they're going to do what they're going to do. There's a limit. Right? Like, what's the real thing you're scared about?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more of a comment than a question, but
what did you guys think about Aisha, like, trying to, because she recognized that one of the ghosts that she saw was that guy. And she was trying to find out information and find out what they had in common. What did you guys think about that?
I thought this part was so sweet because it's this part in the early in the beginning where she is talking about her mom and how she says, like, her mother always looks for darkness in the light, like in the light room. And then talking about how, like, her mother, it was very upset with her for, like, going to more, like, out of nowhere, I assume secular college, throwing away her faith, marrying a white man or a non-Muslim man, mostly is the big deal. And then when they find that list, it's really, God, I want to find that quote. It was, I think I wrote it down. Yeah. So when they find Aisha's notes on Mitchell, because they find they both like Star Wars, I think. Next to the same candy or food or something.
Korean food.
She wrote down what they have in common. Why would she do that? Because in a room full of shadows, she's obsessed with the light. Oh, that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I also love when there's a limit, because there's a point later, which I like too, where we have Medina fighting off this monster, presumably Mitchell Fisher. And it's like, but see, she found things in common. You guys have things in common. And it's starting to work. There's a recognition. And then it stops for a second. She's like, okay, actually, I've done enough. We're still going to do this thing that I'm doing. And I was like, I like that too. Right? Because it's like, okay, sometimes that is the right thing to do. And sometimes there's a limit when you are in danger to compassion.
Yeah, I think it spoke to what a lot of us sort of have to try to do, which is to see the similarities between us. And I think that's often the cure for racism, is realizing that, hey, under the sun, we all love the same shit. We do the same stuff. We bleed the same color blood. It's all, it's all the same under the hood. And I love that moment so much because it underscores the challenges that exist as well in being othered and having to be the one to find the similarities, to bridge the gap. Like,
Right.
it's always your responsibility because you assume the other person's not going to do it. In this book, they definitely weren't doing it. So she did it. And she did it for herself. And that's how she finds her way through the world. And I think that's really powerful. And I wish more people did it.
Yeah, I throughout my life and career, spent a lot of time trying to get people to go abroad, either to study or do partnerships or things like that. And I think one of the things I love most about that is to see how people learn and how they come back from that experience, especially if people like come Kentucky, right? Because they don't have a lot of experience anywhere or with other people, which leads to some very difficult situations here. But not that that's uncommon anywhere, right? Sometimes if you have a lot of different groups, then you have those groups like we talked about, that just different groups like, angry at one another. But to see them be like, oh wait, I didn't realize other people just like me. Like, yeah. And it's so like, to me, it's like, yeah, duh. But I'm like, okay.
Well,
small town Kentucky, some of them never left the state. And then they're like, well, gee, they eat this just like I do. That's crazy. But
well,
it is like, I'm making it silly because that's just my habit. But like, truly, it's these things that like are profound and like changing them when they get back, if they're doing it the right way. But yeah, sometimes there's a limit, right? Like, we do all of our work that we can to try to convince people of things, but sometimes they're not in the place yet to hear that. And and that there's a limit, right? But there's also something really beautiful to being like, I'm still going to and very anime to be like, I'm still gonna see the goodness in my heart and light, and I'm gonna do my best to make it through here, and I'm gonna change people that way. And I think some of that works. I think sometimes it's even worked in comments here on live, right? I've had people that are like, like, oh, it's so woke and stupid. I'm like, can you just define woke for me, like, just real quick? And they're like, oh, actually, and then like later they're like, yeah, my bad, because they just don't have anyone to talk to about it.
Right. I think Aisha is the character that is putting in steps to find commonalities because people fear what they don't understand. So she's finding the commonalities. She's being the bridge that is trying to reach out and try to make these ghosts seem more likable, find a commonality, try to find the understanding of why this is happening. Where Medina starts to try to do that, and she's like, you know what? It's not on me to do that bridge. People will try that.
Aisha did all those things and it still happened. People
it still happened.
Right.
So that, to me, she was the fatigue. She was like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to say, that's not who I am, and I'm going to choose a different path.
Yeah. I think inside most of us exist both sides, where we're willing to be compassionate and, reach across the aisle, so to speak. But we also have to recognize that sometimes enough is enough and the shit gonna stop one way or another,
Right.
We have to have that. And we've seen historically, I mean, you brought up the dichotomy between these two characters, and that made me think about like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and the dichotomy of their approach to civil rights, and really their approach to life was so radically different, but built around those same kinds of concepts where one individual is willing to have, not necessarily literally, but for the sake of this conversation, the maximum amount of compassion, right? And another is like, compassion is for the birds. We don't need it because they haven't had compassion for us. And both opinions are valid, but one is like more likely to lead to destruction. It's such a difficult, slippery slope when one side wants to be better and wants to have a connection and make things right, and the other just doesn't.
And we kind of see that play out at the end too, because Medina loses her life. Where Aisha, thanks to the sacrifice of her friend, she gets to live and move on. It's very introspective in that way when we come full circle. So it's really interesting that she moves on.
We're Marco and Tyler now.
Well, Maddie, your name begins with an M, Tina with a T. Boom.
That's valid. Hello.
We'll do the Maddie Tina takeover.
Let's go. The New Look Comics Pals.
Oh man, I got distracted. It's the ADHD. I'm sorry. I'm up to date, super up to date on DC now, like wicked up to date. So I can talk about things now. I couldn't before.
Talk to me. Let's.
I know nothing about DC. I can give you all the wrong answers.
Well, you can't read Absolute Wonder Woman because she's buff and incredible. So
okay.
Can't believe this.
We haven't addressed the way that the monsters, ghosts, whatever, appear and who they appear to.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why.
That was big.
So throughout this book, not everybody can see these ghosts or monsters. They specifically target, because I believe this man, is this Deal? I don't know who this person is. I think it's Deal and not Reynolds. I can't remember who Reynolds is. That name got shown. I think this is Deal.
I don't even remember.
But they only show up to certain people and people of color within that apartment building.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because this is the resentment of this racist people that passed away, whose spirits are living in the building. So they appear to Aisha first. They do appear to Medina, right? But at first, like, they appear to just Aisha. It's not even everybody all at once. Is that they target certain people that they hate the most over everybody else, right? So it's almost like there's like a little ranking system, right? One is who's closest, and two is which of these subgroups do I hate the most? Almost that was kind of my feeling about it. And again, I apologize for being jokes.
A racist ranking.
Well, that's how it kind of felt because it's like they were targeting. I gotta make sure not to do too far because I don't know, but like, they get our boy Ethan too. So eventually, to get as there's like the more heightened awareness and fear, then more of them show up.
And the gruesome, like the more like violent they become.
And they're all very different. Project much? I mean, yeah, it's called we're reading into the book. It's discussion. I'm not projecting my much. I hope I'm not projecting that I have anything weird.
I don't even know what that comment was in the context of, so it's hard to
You're right. We don't know the context.
Today's
Let me find a picture of these.
Context matters.
Yes.
I want to find another picture. There's a really good one here. We're a little bit farther in, so we can show the F word, I think.
Can we say it?
Yeah, it's past 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
YouTube changes all the time.
I say it within 2 seconds on my channel.
I just immediately, just to test it out.
Fuck.
Ah!
There we go.
I think that one's allowed, but we're not allowed to say the word
The C
for
word?
women. No, we're not allowed to say that word. I was like, the women loving women. We're not allowed to say that. YouTube will demonetize you if you say it.
But I already said it.
Well, then we can say it now, I guess.
The dollar
being. But it's interesting to see the different ways they show up. Like, I'd love to, because I'm a big Silent Hill fan. And in Silent Hill, all the monsters mean something, right? They all have some sort of symbology or metaphor throughout the series. It's what they're known for, right? They all mean something to the character, and they represent like a fear or like a manifestation or a want or desire or whatever. I could do like a 2-hour talk about how Pyramid Head doesn't belong in the Silent Hill movie because it's from Silent Hill 2. But I'd love to hear more from the artists about like the choices here, like if there's a representation of just like an emotional representation. Because the first ghost we see is just like a naked man saying slurs, basically. Yeah. But then we have this like full-on anger and like multiple faces and eyes. And it's very neat to see how the different things look. I don't know if you guys had like a theory or anything about that, but
I don't know that I had a specific theory. I kind of took it as like the dead people who lived in this apartment building, the ones who were hateful, their essences, whatever the remainders, kind of got mashed into this like disgusting creature of 1,000 faces in reference to what you were just showing us. But the other more individualized appearances, I don't know what Aaron Campbell was necessarily going for or what the underpinning was, but like you, I would love to hear him discuss it at length.
Oh man, I love the first appearance to Medina is really good too. Just that like jump scare almost of just a huge face showing up after she's talking to this awful girl. And then Aisha waking up at that same point, or like that screaming in her coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chef's
Such
kiss.
A good transition. Yeah, really. And like, let's say that is a disgusting image.
Oh, it's so good. The art's incredible. Like truly.
Yeah.
I mean, just mind blowing. Like, horror's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, horror is hard, and you mentioned earlier horror without sound and how difficult that can be. I think the reason why this book stands out to me as one of the stronger entries into comic book horror is that it's psychological and that it's rooted in something that we can all understand, in this case, racism, and the horrors of living in apartment buildings. And so,
especially for you, I just imagine this is what New York is like.
Oh yeah, every day.
Although your apartments have racist ghosts in them.
Actually, my racist ghost was bothering me before I got on the program. I had to beat him back with a broom. But no, like, I think the shit. What were we just talking about?
The art and
the sound.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Right. It's something that I can understand. I can wrap my head around this. I've never been chased by a slasher, but I have dealt with racism. and I have lived in an apartment building, so I get these things, right? And
Apartments
I
are
think
scary by themselves, man.
absolutely.
Gosh.
I think this book leans into what comic book horror can do that other mediums cannot do. So if you're watching a movie, for example, and you see something awfully scary, it's there and then it's not. In this comic, though, you can look at that image for as long as you want, and there's detail all up in it, and it's weird and creepy and gross. And the way that Aaron Campbell is able to control the amount of what we see and don't see, it's harder to do horror in comics, but I think Aaron Campbell identified when and why it works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, all the ghosts and like monsters are so extreme looking. The color palette of them is so different.
Yeah.
The way they all kind of combine with each other is cool. The South is scary. We understand. Listen, we may not be as South as everybody else, but Kentucky's no different. That's just facts.
Kentucky doesn't know where it ever lies south.
I don't know either. We got a full governor. That's it.
We have.
And bourbon, I guess.
I took the ghost as being warped by hatred. That's where I took it. Like, I didn't see it necessarily like as a pit of like anything other than they are being warped by their hatred. And as we move along, they almost get more distorted with their hate as they get more consumed by it. Yeah. That's the only thing I took from it. But I did want to talk about the one thing that I didn't see that it was going to go where it went was that one neighbor that never entered into the common areas that was always sweating and scared every time he looked at his peephole, because he's just some like fat white guy to me. And I was like, oh no, he's going to be another racist neighbor.
Right.
But then he came down.
And he was like, he killed like Aisha's husband, unfortunately. And like, I feel very bad because he was like, but he was attacking you. That's why I did. And like, I felt so bad that he was dragged into it, but you didn't know what he saw, what he understood. You just had this fear. Like, he was trapped in his apartment and he was fearful. But
I bet he's heard stuff for years too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like without showing, like my headcanon is that he heard a lot of this stuff for years and never did anything.
Yeah.
And it bubbled up. And he's like, no more. I'm leaving the apartment.
but you don't know what his story is. And I love little snippets like that when you don't know a character's full story, but you see their actions. Because contextually speaking, we don't know what his context is. Because he's not really saying anything. We just see his actions. We just see him doing something.
100.
So we are.
Yeah.
So good.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're hitting 9, and I have to make sure I sleep because tomorrow's gonna be a long work day. But I do want to talk about the ending really quick. So, I mean, we know things work out with Aisha and Chris, and that's all great. And there's this kind of conversation she's having. She misses her friend. I don't want to talk about too much, even though we're a spoiler YouTube show. I want to talk about the ending. So at the ending, we have some guys who are going to do some renovation on the building who are already saying some pretty kind of out-of-pocket shit. Mm-hmm. And they are met with a ghost face right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that that's our girl Medina haunting, but now in a different way, right? A protective way. Well, I wanted to see what you guys thought. Like what... Because to me, like, if they're talking that way and that's the ghost that shows up, I would assume that's Medina.
I don't know. I like it open-ended. It's definitely there for you to project your own thoughts on. But for me, like, I don't really know. Like, I didn't see it as Medina, but I definitely saw it as a continuation of the haunting. Like, Medina tried so hard to get rid of the spirits and resolve that, but racism is like that. You never fully negate it. It's going to be there in some context.
But those two guys are white guys saying racist things.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
wouldn't show up for that.
Well, Or would they
It's
be
gotta be Muslim.
reawakening that spirit because of their racism?
Because they're being racist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting pick.
Well, recall also that Tom had the creepy monster thing on his back
Oh,
when he was attacking the
that's
demon.
true.
Like a possession.
Yeah.
Man, and that image is so cool.
Mhm.
I'll show that really quick. I think that's fine. The last one I took on a little too long, and there were some curse words on it, and that's my bad. But this one doesn't have any. But I love that.
Oof.
The way it can get a hold of you no matter who you like. This guy seemed just fine, right? Doesn't
He
mean he
was
didn't have some
angry.
residuals. Yeah, he's angry, so now it's a different justified thing too.
Exactly. You know what I love about the ending though, because I don't think there's anything wrong with your interpretation of it, Maddie. But I like the fact that without the context of why that is there, we have absolutely no idea what it means. And that is the same thing as everything else we've seen. You need to know the why. You have to have the context.
Yeah. And I'm glad that things worked out for Aisha in the end.
Yeah.
Like that. A horror book or horror story can still be scary and have a good ending for the victim. And I think when a story like this, it means more to have a win as well.
But did
and I
it?
appreciate that.
That's why it leaves it kind of open.
I mean, she's alive, and so is Chris.
She's alive. Yeah.
And she misses her friend, but she still has faith, and she still has that light in her. I think that's a win overall.
Yeah.
Even with the bummers.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
And there's there's some good talking there because she's like, maybe sometimes the glass really is half empty and we just have to deal with it. But sometimes you just need to have some faith. I think that's nice too.
I guess. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead. Please.
I was just gonna say, Pornsak isn't necessarily preaching here.
No.
And I really appreciate that about the book. There are a lot of different ways you can turn it and twist it. Look at what we've done in just this hour-long conversation. The way that we've been able to look at it from different angles and dissect it. And to me, that speaks to a very high level of storytelling talent.
Yeah.
And dealing with a complex issue like this, I also think it reflects an ability to look at the world from perspectives beyond your own, which is the only way you can tell a story like this, but it's also the only way that you can go through life living a full life by being able to take in other people's worldviews and perspectives. So I appreciated this a lot for that.
And it makes for an interesting story too. I think when people, I can understand when I read a simple story. And there's simple stories I like, but I really love a layered story. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like digging into something real beefy.
Yes.
And that's these conversations are fun. It's not just me being like, and then Professor X did, and there's stories that are beefy that are X-Men. And I don't mean to give them a hard time.
Yeah.
But I love Western comics still, of course, our main big two. But man, it feels good when you get to really dig into something like this and be like, it's because of the, some of the ambiguity, but in the messaging here that we really get to it's rereadable.
Right. And you can put your own thoughts onto it.
Yeah.
You can, as much as the story is being what's the context, we're projecting our own ideas on these characters. Because you can even say at the end when Aisha's husband is attacking Medina or thinking that she killed, his friends and stuff like that, and she's the root cause, you could be like, no matter how safe you think somebody is, no matter how on your side they think you are, they could still harbor certain racist tendencies. And if you show them that you're what they think you are or they perceive you to be, are they going to lash out and attack you? You could keep diving into the story on different facets of each character different-sidedly. Is it just because he was being possessed? Is it because he was maybe there's all these different facets and you can project your thoughts onto these characters, but it's the ambiguity that allows you to do that in this whole contextual world.
I think that's a perfect point. Before we end the show, especially I don't want to. I want to talk about this forever, which is killing me. But I know if I don't sleep, I will not be able to mask through my business meetings tomorrow. And I'm gonna have to. And I also signed up to the gym at 6 a.m. because I'm crazy.
Ugh.
I gotta lift those weights, baby.
6 a.m.
Listen, if it's after work, I won't go, and I gotta lift heavy.
It's only worth it, Maddie, if you intend to cosplay as Absolute Wonder Woman and show off the guns.
I'm so glad you asked because that's definitely the point.
Yes.
If Omar can get us to New York Comic Con, I'll do it. I think either that or Big Barda. Because if it's Wonder Woman, I have a Buster Sword in my basement. It's the Final Fantasy VII one, but I still have a Buster Sword. I can make another one.
We can start a fund to get you to New York Comic Con. That has to happen. You need to go to Comic Con in 2026 in an Absolute Wonder Woman cosplay or Big Barda.
I would love that.
Mandatory.
Yeah. And we have to cosplay and drink together, Sean.
All right. Whoa, hold on. Drinking I'm with, but cosplay. I've never cosplayed.
You were talking to two.
Well.
I don't know if you've seen our cosplays, Sean.
You showed me one. I
was doing JoJo poses. I have cosplayed JoJo's.
I've got some.
And I've cosplayed Aerith from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
A lot of old anime stuff. And Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite one.
I can see that.
I've got a Freya mask up above me right now from Final Fantasy IX.
It's incredible. It's so good.
I'm
as long as you don't drink Truly. Listen, I'm only drinking it right now because I got to hit my macros. Okay? Listen, if I want to be buff next year, I got to hit these macros. All right? It's been a long day. I'm going to drink this 100-calorie Truly.
Uh-oh, Tina's breaking out the...
Oh, God. Oh, Tina.
Well, okay, she got the socks on. I thought we were giving free feet. You don't do that.
No, I definitely no free feet.
Yeah, I want to hear this down too.
Yeah. Do you go, Maddie? Were you there?
I haven't been. So I'm trying to plan out cons for next year, and it's pretty open. I want to hit up one anime con and one big comic con. Isn't that awesome? Tina sculpted it herself.
Wait, what is that?
It's Freya
from Final Fantasy
IX.
I'll pull
you wore that on your head?
Yeah. Oh, I can't put it on because my glasses.
That's the nerdiest thing.
My God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you played Final Fantasy IX, but
I didn't play 9.
Oh, but yeah, it's this character. So she made the whole head and stuff.
Wow, that's very cool.
I made Beatrix. This one.
What?
It was back in the day too.
That's amazing. You guys are talented. I got to see these cosplays. I can't do it. I mean, who am I going to go as? It's like, what do I got?
Anybody.
I got Black Panther.
No, listen.
I got the Black Power Ranger.
You don't have to cosplay only Black characters. Okay. You can do it if you want to, but you don't have to. Also, Black Lightning exists.
Yeah.
And that's my man.
Black Lightning is cool, but why does he have to have lightning?
I don't
powers,
know. That's
you know
lightning. There's always lightning.
I mean,
always black people and lightning.
Why
go
don't
together.
people cosplay Icon? Also, why don't people talk about Icon?
That's a great question.
I feel like I just scream out into the void. I'm like, can y'all read Icon, please?
Listen, you are in control of what gets read on this channel on Tuesdays.
I think that's true. I think I've done Icon. I mean, maybe I read them out for myself.
All right, tell me who I should be who should I cosplay as?
Freddy Fazbear.
You know what?
When you said that in the comments, I was like, Sean, we cannot keep liking the same exact things.
I know what's happening. I'll go as
All
spring
you
trap.
have to do is get a nice brown suit.
Okay.
You do like the
For
most
Freddie,
recent
I was
one.
like, where are we going? with
Yeah,
this?
no. You do a humanoid version. So you're like nice brown suit. You basically humanize it and you add some flair to like make sure people know that you're Freddy Fazbear, like a mic and stuff like that.
Right.
There's low key, like they call them Sunday
Oh.
cosplays. You can do a low key nice cosplay, like a humanoid Freddy Fazbear.
All right. So, fun fact about me: I have never in my life worn a suit.
Oh, there's always a first
Really?
time.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. I have never.
Interesting. No graduate, nothing.
Nope, never worn a suit.
Ladies love a suit, Sean.
Well, I guess that's why I'm striking out, Maddie. Got to throw a suit on.
You throw the suit on, and then you do. I don't know why this works for men. Guys have it so easy. You just have to roll up the sleeve like this,
Mm.
and then it's over.
Is that
that's the whole thing. They're like, Tina, you would understand.
I'm like, no, I'm like wedding singer or
No. When guys wear their collared shirts and they roll it up, I don't know what it is.
I like
That's
a
your
lady
thing?
in a
Ask
suit.
the book talk girls. I don't know.
Wait, why would we have to ask them? It's your thing.
I'm one of them.
Exactly.
I
We
have
have
to
you
plan
right
some
here.
fun. So I didn't get into the book con I wanted to go to next year, so now I have to go to other things. I'm very sad.
You got? What do you mean you didn't get to go? Like you got denied?
They sold out.
Oh, for that one con that you went to last year? Yeah.
I had a
okay.
whole breakdown. I was like, I have to call off work.
Are you serious?
I was so sad.
Uh-huh.
It's a special one. It's a special one for special people.
And you gotta save that for an AMA.
Whoa. Special how?
I read monster romance, Sean. And anyone who's seen my Goodreads knows. It's too late. They're like, it's comics and there's that.
I didn't even say anything. I just said save it for the AMA, so.
I need to know. I don't like waiting for knowledge. You say monster romance.
We are still live.
I'm gonna use an okay word. Are you talking about tentacles? Maddie.
Listen, I'm a really cool, accomplished lady. Okay, I have refined taste.
Listen, I will never ever. Well, that's not true. In most cases, I will not yuck a person's yum. So whatever's clever.
You don't want to ask the question. You don't know the answer. I'm a woman of varied tastes. I don't know.
Yeah, we need that AMA.
I'm complex.
This could be the AMA right now. Somebody throw a $10 super chat. Let's get Maddie talking.
Oh my God, no. We can't. That's what doing the Patreon AMA because it's safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's people like, hey, we need a room tour, and I'm like, I can't give that to you yet. I gotta hide some things.
Whoa! The room you're in right now?
No. This is fine.
Oh.
No.
Oh, your room.
No, my comic book room. This is not my comic book room.
The downstairs.
I've got a whole basement.
What?
It's full of board games and comic books and art and card games and RPGs and cosplay weapons.
And
hey, kittens.
And a pole because I exercise, okay? Not anything weird. I have to take that down.
Why would you have to take that down?
Sean, we're on the internet.
Okay, yes. Valid.
We're on the internet, Sean.
Fair.
Anyways, so we had a downer, now we had an upper. We didn't give a rating.
Oh, we didn't.
Give a rating out of 10, please. And I hope that we don't get it demonetized. Excuse me? What, James?
What?
Oh my God, she's kidding like Jesus.
Oh yeah. I was on the last AMA. It was a drawing off between me and Omar.
Oh, okay, so you did do. I thought nobody was gonna follow it up. Just kidding like Jason. Let's you go and do it. Anyways, out of 10, Tina.
I'd say this one would probably be a 9.
Sean.
I am aligned. I will give it a 9.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know what I would need for it to push it to that final.
It's too short.
More? I felt short.
Yeah.
To me, I think I don't know. I don't know. I agree. I don't know what would have taken over the top, but it did feel a little short. I wish I had a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that. This background's great, Tina. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, it was still really fun. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is a great trio. I think we should do this again. I think it should be a trio again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep doing this for some reason.
I noticed that's your new thing right now. I like it. You look very. You look like you're plotting the end of the world when you do.
And I am.
But then
it's been a long day, which makes me more loopy. It's not. I've barely had a true loop. I've barely had anything. Just because I'm tired. I'm tired and I work too hard.
Sleep more, work less.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna take a day off. Thank you all for being here. This is really fun. Tina,
yes.
They can find you here.
Yes.
So if you want to see more Tina, she's on this channel.
I sometimes appear. Sometimes I do some overviews for Omar. So you'll see me occasionally do manga overviews. Whenever he gets around to filming Star Trek overviews as well, because I've got some of those. And then I help manage Omar's TikTok, so you hear my voice a lot of the times. So I'm TikTok Tina on TikTok. So
and Tina is an OG near mint condition person back when we did panel videos. Way back.
Way back when.
That's so long ago. That's crazy. It's like 7 years or something.
9?
Ah! Oh, it is!
Did you both know that there are people who grew up watching you on near mint condition?
Gross. Mm-hmm. I ran into somebody like in real life in town. I was at a restaurant, they're like, Maddie? And I was like, oh, it must be somebody from high school or something. That's really weird. Like, no, I watched the channel. I'm like, what?
It's scary when like they're like, oh, did you do this TikTok? And I'm like, I haven't posted on my cosplay TikTok in like 5 years. That's
anyways,
scary.
Sean, tell him. Oh, God. Tell people where they can find you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Sean from the Comics Pals. Make sure you leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the conversation. As for me, I am live every single Thursday on my channel at the Comics Pals for Pals Polls, where we review weekly comics. We're going to talk about some major releases this week. And then every Saturday at 10:15 a.m., we are live as well to have bigger picture industry conversations. If you like hard-hitting discussions like this one, you can very often find them on my channel. Thank you so much.
And they're great. I found you all randomly. And I don't join live chats ever.
So glad you did.
Or subscribe. And I was like, these guys are cool and I trust them. And I can't say that for a lot of comic too.
Thank you. We've got to do more together. I feel like
I know. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh.
Yes, I have the same feeling. And also, by the way, just so you know how my memory works, you and I had an agreement that you 1000% did not pull through with.
I forgot what it was.
See, I know.
No, Sean, I'm sorry.
Remember, you were supposed to read a book.
Which one was
remember? It? Look, you don't even remember.
Oh! Dark Tower.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just. Like,
Maddie told me she would read the Dark Tower if I played Guardians of the Galaxy, and we agreed on this swap.
Did you play Guardians?
I definitely played it.
Maddie.
I didn't finish it, but I definitely played it because I realized, oh, she's not reading that damn book.
Well, Omar has.
She's too busy playing HeroClix. She moved on from me. Now she's on HeroClix.
I'm a cool guy.
I feel you.
And I also apologize. I'm really bad at texting and messaging always, so I apologize for that. I do love phone calls. So I'm one of those people. So if you ever want to just call and be like, Maddie, you doing your shit? That's fine.
I'm a phone person too, but you're so busy.
Just during the work hours. And then the rest of the time I'm like in comatose recovering from work hours. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back next week with Omar with our Patreon pick. I cannot remember what the name of it is. It's like X-Men Scary Bear or something.
Demon Bear.
Oh,
Demon
yeah,
Bear.
yeah.
Okay, so not that far off.
X-Men Scary Bear.
X-Men
Scary
Scary Bear.
Oh, no.
Have you read it yet?
No, I don't read anything until the day.
Okay.
Really?
Pretty much. I read all of The Woods last Tuesday.
Well, you're in for a treat for some psychedelic art, so.
I'm stoked. I mean, I've read some omnibuses. It's because I won't remember if I don't do it that way. Yeah, we'll be back, and then I haven't decided on November yet, but and I'll be here next Thursday for the Evergreen Horror Book Show.
Ooh.
So hang out with me and whoever's going to be there for like 4 hours. I'm sure it's going to be a long show, because they always are. And thank you again, Tina and Sean, and the chat for all being here. We will catch you all next time. Goodbye. Bye. This is my hit the button.